guys, it's Robbie here, and this is Freaky Fit Wolf. I'm doing another installment of Thoughtful Thursday. I do not know how many of these I'm going to do, if it is going to be long term, because I realize I don't really have a whole lot to be able to say. I never know what I'm going to talk about. Today I at least have a couple of things. One, I'm going to be answering a question that somebody had asked on the last video, and if anybody else has any questions or any topic ideas related to mental health and awareness and things like that, let me know. And then two, I'm going to be just kind of talking about where I am mentally right now. If you watch Tuesday video, you know that I've transitioned into a more hypomania phase, and I'm going to explain that a little bit more in detail. All right, so before any of that, I am apologizing right now for the circles you're going to be seeing on my glasses. I can't find my contacts. I lost one contact last night, and so I took the other one out, and I can't find the rest of my contacts to be able to put them in so that you can have, normal face without circles. But for now, it's gonna be circles. So I apologize. You can see in the background there, the ring light is behind the camera. But it's, despite what that window looks like, it's actually darker outside right now because it's getting ready to storm. And because I have such large rooms and large ceilings, and that's my only light in here, it's dark. So I need something, otherwise you don't see me at all. But yeah, so apologies for that. All right, so moving on. The first thing I wanted to talk about was Rebecca Webb had asked on the last video for tips on how to address dealing with somebody with bipolar, and especially if they are not aware that they have it, or are, how did she word it? If they don't recognize the pattern and have not sought help. So the first one, I'm going to answer the second part first, because that one I don't have as much to say on. So without knowing the person's habits, it's very hard to actually go into detail as far as how to get them to seek help. So very basically, I would just say, find a nice calming area, or, whatever, a comfortable place to talk. Don't come at them in a place of anger, because a lot of times when people are suspecting that somebody is bipolar or some kind of psychological issue, it's one of the two major extremes, but a lot of times it's the manic phases that make people think bipolar rather than just depressed. And when you're depressed, it's easier for you to know that you're depressed and seek help. When you're manic, especially actual true mania, you do not always know that it's happening, because you have a sense of euphoria. You have a sense of, I don't know, there's a word for it, and I knew it. It was right there, but it disappeared. But basically where you think you're invincible type of thing. Nothing's wrong with you. You're the best. And that can be a huge feeling in it. And I'm sure it's a great feeling. So it's hard to recognize that, oh yeah, I'm feeling this way, but I'm also doing all of these destructive behaviors. So that can be kind of tricky. So if they are doing that and it's annoying you, wait until you're calm before addressing anything. Actually plan out a time to talk to them, and basically just, put it out there, come at them very loving and encouraging, and from a sympathetic, empathetic type of place. Not accusing. Do not let them feel to blame for any of their emotions or any of their moods, because ultimately, if it is bipolar, it's really not their fault. So don't come at them accusingly. So avoid your judging tones, any things like that. And then other than that, it's really just be patient and be loving towards the person. I know with my different moods that I have, like I said, I don't get true mania. I get hypomania, which is practically, it's loosely defined. I'm loosely defining it as a weaker version of mania. But with my hypomania, I know I can get kind of annoying just for the fact that it's very hard for me to, pay attention and focus, and I'm distracted, and I'm doing 20 things at one time. And it's a lot trickier for people to kind of navigate. Sometimes it's very hard to hold a conversation with me when I am in this mode, because I'm jumping around in the conversation and circling back and jumping forward 3 topics. It can be hard. And mania can be a lot more extreme. So I know it can be very difficult to deal with. So all I can really say is to be loving and patient with them while encouraging them to get help. Like maybe, make a list. It can get tricky. Make a list of things that they're doing that might not be healthy behavior. And just kind of bring that up to them. And it can be tricky because like coming at somebody with a list of things they're doing wrong can feel very attacking. So you got to do it in a certain way that feels that way. And hopefully when they are like out of a manic episode, can be kind of easier to talk about. Be like, hey, so you were doing this, X, Y, and Z. I don't know if that's, good behavior. And like, it's causing this. Cause and effect, for me anyway, is a huge, like, because there's plenty of times where I'm like, I love being in a hypomanic stage. Let me stay here forever. But then, I think of X, Y, and Z of, well, because I was in this phase, this happened. Because I was feeling this way and I did this, that happened. I know that's hard to say without specifics, but it's kind of how it is with trying to talk to Rebecca about your loved one. Without those specifics, I can't really give solid advice. I do say Google it, like literally. Granted, what I was gonna say and what I have said, I went to like 3 different sites and they all said basically the same thing, but still Google, I think a loved one has bipolar. It'll go into a lot more detail as far as how to deal with it and how to handle it. Like I'm on helpguide.org right now, and a lot of, some stuff for how to just handle it. And this is whether they know it or not, accept your loved one's limits, accept what they can and can't do. Sometimes it's going to be, it's not a matter of just saying, don't do that. Or stop, like they just said, stop acting crazy. Or like for me, my big issue is controlling my money. I like to spend when I'm in this mode. I got paid today. Very tricky. And now that I'm aware of it, I'm fighting it, but it's very hard to. And sometimes it's not a matter of just telling somebody, hey, save your money. Don't buy this stupid stuff. Don't do any impulse buying. It's easier said than done, as we all know with all of the weight loss stuff. They also say accept your own limits. So let me read that real quick. You can rescue your loved one with bipolar. You can't rescue your loved one with bipolar disorder, nor can you force them to take responsibility for feeling better. You can offer support, but ultimately recovery is in the hands of the person with the illness. And I know that can be hard, just like we know, and Rebecca, you said, like, it's hard when it's somebody that needs to lose weight. It's in that person's hands. So accept what you can and can't do. And I'm going to add on to that, when dealing with their behaviors, accept what you can and can't handle. There are certain things that, you can't. If their behavior is extreme in a certain way, that it's too much for you to handle. So you need to know that and maybe not be around them at certain points. And it's okay to accept that about yourself. You still are a loving, caring person if you can't handle being around certain moments. The next one is reduce stress. I mean, that's pretty understandable. And then communicate openly. So all of this stuff that I've said is what they're recommending. And again, that is helpguide.org. But if you seriously just type, I think a loved one has bipolar, a bunch of articles pop up. So see, this is where my brain, forgetting what I was doing because I'm jumping around so much in my head, like keeping a constant train of thought coming out of my mouth is hard because my brain is 5 miles ahead. I believe I covered everything I was going to about that question. So going into where I'm at with being in hypomania. So as I did say earlier, since I am bipolar 2, typically we get more with the depression and then we get hypomania phases. We can go into mania phases. I don't think I ever have. I might have, but I don't think I've ever gone to that extreme. But for me, it's hypomania. So what I am like when I'm like this, and this is very similar to so much of mental health. It's funny, like I can relate to weight loss things that I've talked about in the past, that I've learned in the past. But just like with weight loss, it's noticing the signs and noticing what your behaviors are so that you can help prevent them. I'm still trying to find the right medication. I'm on a new one. I've been on it 2 weeks now. I don't know if it's working. As I said Tuesday, I think I said Tuesday, this past week was a very, very hard week. I'm not going to go into details about it, but things got really bad really quick. And some bad stuff almost happened. But then I flip into a hypomania phase. So either way, the point is, I don't know if my medication's working, but it's too soon to tell. You can't tell. Typically, medication takes 4 to 6 weeks to work. So now that I'm in this phase, what typically comes with it for me is a lot less sleep. It's harder for me to fall asleep. Even with my medication, it's hard to fall asleep. But what sucks is the medication keeps me asleep, so it's hard to wake up. But that's number one sign. And then another one is like I was saying earlier, it's tied into finances and impulse buying. And honestly, anything that gives me that rewarding feeling. And so like I literally had to watch myself today. I gave myself permission to buy, 2 things and get my nails done, which PS, that was not adorable. And then I colored my hair, but that didn't cost me any money. That was stuff I owned. But it's very hard. Like literally, I have caught myself probably 5 times today on Amazon, like looking and getting ready to add stuff to the cart. And I have to tell myself, no, you're not doing that. You're not. You're paying your freaking bills. And it sounds silly, like any responsible adult, pay your freaking bills, but it's very, very hard for me right now. And so I have to literally argue with myself and tell myself not to do that. It's annoying, believe me, because I've had to stop myself so many times. Like I said, at least 5 times today. Well, between that and blizzardgear.com, blizzardgearstore.com, because of the Overwatch, the main game that I love to play, they have a sale going on right now. So it's extra hard. I did already buy a jacket from there Tuesday, so I really have to be careful. But so anyway, that's a huge sign. And then also very fast talking. Like I said, my brain is going a mile a minute right now. It's almost like, I don't know what ADHD is like, but it's almost like having ADD in my opinion, because my brain is going a mile a minute and trying to get it out of my mouth and have my mouth catch up is very hard. And so it's best example I can give. And again, this might be just something that I've done, so I don't know if anybody can relate to it. But if you're ever writing something and you know how your hand is moving, obviously will move slower forming a whole word than your brain can. So like you're writing the word the, meanwhile your brain is already on cow has sung moo. I don't know. So like that's how it is right now. My mouth is on the, my brain is on moo. That's a weird analogy. But so that's another huge sign for me. And then just having a lot more energy and willpower to do stuff. So weight loss this week has been a lot easier, focusing on dieting. But oddly enough, not all of it is always productive. Like hence why I'm sitting here, because I was going to sit a little bit more over, but there's some junk over there and my coffee table is covered in stuff. So I'm sitting here so none of y'all can see that, because despite me having this extra energy and doing things and all kinds of stuff, like I have some art projects going on in the kitchen, I've got some other stuff going on, it's not stuff that I should be doing. Like it's fun stuff, I'm glad I'm doing it, but I do need to clean more. Like my kitchen is clean. I was literally scrubbing cabinets, the stain that I got that has been there forever, the hood on over the stove, that is clean. It's been like, I don't want to say greasy, but like had a film on it since I moved in and I could never get it off. I finally got it off. But so all of those things are going on. Now, if you're still here 14 minutes in, sorry, it's a longer video. I thought I didn't have a lot to say on this topic. The other thing for me that I've noticed, and me and my therapist were talking about this on Tuesday, uh, my anxiety levels start going up with the hypomania. So whereas when I'm depressed, I get anxiety, but not as extreme and not as often, versus in these phases, for me, I'm a lot more anxious. Like like even today, like when I was driving back from getting my nails done, I started getting a tightness in my chest, like almost wanting to be a panic attack for no reason. And the perfect example happened when I went to the grocery store. So normally in depressed mode, I say normally, but that's my default mode, is depressed mode. So depressed mode, if I go to the store and I get anxiety, I still get anxiety, and I have had plenty of panic attacks while in depressed mode. But the best way I can describe it is, it's more, I'm anxious and it's like, get away from me, get away from me, get away from me. Everybody stay away from me. What are you going to do to me? Don't hurt me. Even though I know nobody's going to, none of it's logical, but that's the feeling that I get, versus the anxiety now when I go to a grocery store. I went yesterday. It's more, I'm trying to get away from them. Like, I don't want to be in anybody's way. I don't want to be a burden. I'm so sorry. Let me get out of your way. Oh, you're looking at something. I'll go to another aisle. Like, I'll circle around. I don't want to hover. Like, I'm hyper aware of my surroundings. And that's a huge issue I have in general. I could have a whole video on that, is how hyper aware I am of my surroundings. Actually, I think I will. I'm going to talk about that next time. I don't know where my pencil went. Oh, I dropped it. But yeah, so it's weird. Like, so with depressed anxiety, it's like, stay away from me. I'm scared of you. Hypomania anxiety, it's, let me stay away from you. I don't want to bother you. So it's like interesting how it's reversed. Like, I never thought of it, but as I was talking to my therapist about that Tuesday, I realized that's how it plays out for me. And it's just interesting to see. What's cool about learning all of these different things is I can learn how to treat them or how to handle them. So with hypomania anxiety, I can learn methods of fighting that. So like with me being scared that I'm bothering somebody, I can, focus on, I haven't done it yet, so I don't know, but focus on, trying to learn that I'm not in their way. I'm not a burden. Everybody's in the grocery store. It's fine. And in depressed Robbie, I can focus on the fact, trying to train myself that I'm safe. I'm okay. I'm not going to be hurt by anybody. Nobody's going to do anything to me. Nobody's going to, honestly, it's not really that I'm scared they're going to physically hurt me. It's like more scared of being judged, and like, it's going to make fun of me. They're going to laugh at me. They're going to, hate me, whatever. And that I've already gotten some on. There's some grounding techniques that my therapists have talked me through for learning how to do, because that ties into my social anxiety when I go to like a bar, or when I go to a gathering of people, which we can't really do right now, but still, when all that stuff's going on and I get my social anxiety, he's taught me some grounding techniques and some things to do to check in and recenter myself. So by learning what kind of anxiety I'm going to have, I can help combat it. Same with learning the habits of being hypomanic. Knowing what my habits are in this phase, I can learn how to combat them a little bit. Not completely. Some of it is going to be waiting for medication to freaking work, which is a nightmare. And Rebecca, if you're still here, one more tip. If the person does get medication or does start going to a psychiatrist, a huge thing that I have to say to everybody is be patient, because it is a process finding the right medication. I've been going for months, like, I don't know, 5-6 months, and I'm still trying to find the right medication. I'm on a lot right now, and it's a process. So it's not like they're going to go to the doctor, see a psychiatrist, get a script, and they're all better. For me, it's a combination of medication, of therapy, and honestly, a lot of self-work and self-analysis. Luckily, I do have this channel and it does help me think things out, but my therapist does that a lot for me too, just by talking it out. So yeah, I've talked for 20 minutes, so I'm going to end the video here, and I apologize for talking so much, and I will talk to you guys all on Tuesday when I do my weigh-in, and yeah, so thank you, like, comment, subscribe, all that, and I'll talk to you Tuesday.